Welcome to Let's Get Quirky. Man, I'm excited you're here. It is 2:30 Wednesday, and we're excited to go live again as we figure this thing out. It's our third day in a row, third time, so hopefully we're getting better at this thing. And I'm definitely looking around here on screens. We've got a computer in front of me to look at chat, and I've got one over here to run some slides. And today we have an interview going to happen, so I'm excited about that. So there is a lag in this whole thing. So there's like a minute, 10-second lag from the video feed you're getting to where I'm at. So I'm like a minute ahead of you. The future looks great. But if you have any questions or comments and you don't hear about it for a minute, that's why. It's because of that delay. So please put comments and questions. Hey, Katie, I see you joined. We will get to them as soon as we can and fit them in to this part here. So, man, I'm just excited to be here. It's been crazy trying to figure out how to work from home. We have been figuring out with our team how to work from home. Let's Get Quirky is actually the funny name came out of our business name. It's called Quirk Advertising, and that's the name of our business. But I'm a little quirky, and that's kind of how it came to be. But we thought it'd be a fun name to break it up a little bit and have a little fun as we do this. But man, it's been interesting trying to figure out how to work from home, trying to build business from home, having two little boys at home that are 3 and 5. And my wife now has 3 boys to take care of because one of them is me, and I'm sure she's more stressed out than I am. But it has been an adventure for sure. So the reason we wanted to do this was well, let me tell you this. My motto, the heart, but that's an intro. Thanks, Chris. So my life motto is that I'm always one person away from changing the course of my future. So that means I need to meet as many people as possible. And our whole team has been built around that, finding these people by meeting them. My business has been built around that. Everything in my past that has altered and changed what I do has been built around that. And it's not happening very much right now because we're all at home. So I was like, man, we gotta find a way that I can connect to people. And I know virtually is the way to do it, obviously. So we decided to do this little stream to connect with people live and get some feedback, get hopefully some good information, but also just to try to make that connection. And if there's someone that wants to reach out to me, talk to me outside of this, I would love to meet you and see if our lives crossing helps our future. So we're definitely remote. We're staying home, trying to figure out rationing the toilet paper. But I'm glad you're joining me, and we're going to actually do live the next 2 days as well. So we're going to go live at 2:30 tomorrow on Thursday and Friday. So it's 5 days this week in a row. It's quite a bit. So next week we're going to probably change it up as far as the schedule. But I'll make sure we're offering solid content at least 2 or 3 times a week and try this live thing out until we're all back to meeting each other in person. So that's why we're doing this. The last 2 days we talked about, on Monday when we opened it up, we talked about, does your website pass the grunt test? And I explained the 3 main things you got to do on your website that are very simple, that should immediately bring in more leads or more activity directed towards people coming your way after they land on your website. And that was on Monday. And the reason we talked about that first is because website's one of the biggest pieces people try to figure out. And we figured, why not? Because we do this with quite a bit. We do a lot of website reviews. We actually do a live website review of someone that joined on Monday. So check that out. It's on my page. And we'll come up with another page later on our website to host all these. But for now, they're going live on my personal Facebook page. And yesterday, we talked about how to pivot your messaging during a crisis. I was in a webinar with Donald Miller of StoryBrand yesterday morning, and he was talking about that same topic. And I just took everything that he had communicated and worked it into ours yesterday afternoon because I thought it was such good information. Trying to pivot your message in a way that people can listen in the midst of a crisis and not sound like you're trying to sell something, but make sure you have some empathy and authority. So you can listen to that yesterday. And StoryBrand is a big company that we use in our business on a daily basis. So if you don't know what StoryBrand is, check it out, storybrand.com. We have a certified StoryBrand guide on our team that helps us figure out our messaging. It's really there's two big pieces of our company that are foundational. They're pieces, but they're huge pieces, and it's clarity and story. And story was what we talked about a lot the past 2 days. So random giveaway. If you would like building a story brand, this book, I will give it to you, to the first person to post a meme from this fun virus that's going on in the world, a fun meme, your favorite from the most recent. Put it up on the comments. First person to post the comment of a meme wins the Building a Story Brand book, and I'm actually going to send you an Audible listen version because I don't want to, send this to you and you have to spray it down with Lysol. So we'll just send you the Audible book. But post that meme, you'll be the winner of the Building a Story Brand. This is written by Donald Miller from Story Brand. It lays out the entire framework we use in our marketing to help people on a daily basis, and really could help you immediately. You can pull things from this to help marketing, even without a marketing team like ours. So that is the giveaway. So those have been the past 2 days talking about Story Brand, and I just kind of prefaced here with today's topic. I mentioned the two main foundational pieces in our business are clarity and story. We talked a lot about story the past 2 days, and clarity is another big piece that we think is foundational in where our business, how it operates and how we help our clients operate. So we have joining us today, Jake Jordan. Before I bring him on, I'll do a little introduction. He actually has his own company. He's founder of Impact Over Attention. He's the owner of this business. He's coaches businesses. He's phenomenal at strategy, but really figuring out what the best next step is for you and your business as a whole. But he actually is on our team helping bring clarity to our business and clarity to businesses that we operate with. And it's been a huge impact. So we're grateful to have him on our team because he's got way more experience than I do in this whole realm of marketing. And man, we're so grateful to have him on the team. So let's see if I can get this to switch over to Jake here. Let's see. Let's do, no, hold up. I'm gonna do one of these here. Picture on picture. Switch over. Looks like, oh, we should be live, but I need to switch so I can hear Jake here. Jake, are you there?
I'm here, man.
Oh man.
I'm just,
Nice.
trying to keep everything balanced.
If you could virtually make that work, we would not have any issues.
It's true. I mean, like, could bring it to real life. Whoa, okay. All right.
Wow. Thanks for that, man. Oh, you don't have hair. You don't actually have
No,
hair.
no,
Okay.
actually, toilet paper is not my hair.
Oh man. Hey, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Jake, like I said, has been a huge asset on our team here at Quirk Advertising. And he has his own business and does other things as well, but he stays busy, and we're just grateful to have him a part of what we're doing. So, Jake, you're coming in today with what we're calling clarity in crisis. And amongst where we're at in this big crisis, we really wanted to talk the importance of clarity. So, I've got three main questions for you today, and I'll dig in amongst those questions. And if you have any questions as well for Jake in the midst of this conversation, this discussion, as you will, please put it in the comments. I'll make sure to get those to Jake, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, Jake, you ready?
Let's do it, man.
All right, cool. Okay, so the first question with clarity is tell a little bit about clarity
Hmm.
and why it's important.
Okay. So, clarity is one of those things that we subconsciously want all the time. We don't a lot of times pursue it or chase it or really consciously go, gosh, I really need some more clarity here. But we're always looking for it because the way we're built is, as Donald Miller says, you want to burn as few calories as possible with your brain. Your brain doesn't want to burn calories; it wants you just to know. And so clarity became really important to me once I got kind of into the ad agency world and understanding a little bit about all the different balls that you're trying to juggle, all the different marketing things you're trying to do, the sales teams talking to the marketing team, the strategy. There's just all this stuff, right? But unless you all kind of have one North Star, it can be really hard to understand, number one, what you're really supposed to be doing to be effective. And number two, why things aren't working. Clarity just brings the ability to impact, I think. So um, that's really, if you're not spending time each day understanding, I mean, being clear on what your priorities are for the day, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, no, it's good. And what have you seen even these past few weeks as we're in the middle of trying to figure out new ways to do business? How
Mhm.
that relates to clarity?
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's a really great time for people to get clarity because they're remembering why they were in business and what makes money. And a lot of times we veer off just because there's a lot of really interesting things we can be a part of and distractions and stresses. And I try and see the good in things, the silver lining. And right now, there's a lot of opportunity for you to sit back and get clear on
Right.
what's important to you and what's really working for you.
That's good. So tell me, this is the second big question. Tell me how clarity helps you practically in your business. So practically.
Right. So clarity is a kind of a big concept, like I alluded to, and it's something that, like I said, you need, but you don't necessarily follow through with on every day. And so, typically when we're talking to people, they're like, "Hey, can you help us fix our website?" Or "Hey, can you help us get some more people coming in and buying?" Or things like that. It's specific issues that they're having, but a lot of times what we find is there's just not a lot of clarity on their side around what the issue really is. The issue may be that they aren't actually doing anything to drive traffic to their website to begin with. So their website's not the issue. So from a practical standpoint, clarity just helps you get in a place to understand what's wrong. That's why it's so important and how it works so well. And that for that website example, we bring people through the story brand model, and what that accomplishes is can you tell me clearly what problem you solve? Can you tell me clearly who you're trying to help? Can you tell me clearly what my options are? How do I work with you? There's just all these different spots that you use in your business that you just forget that, yeah, that needs to be clear. And so that website's a really good example. Kind of a bigger picture example is, a lot of people get into business because they see opportunity, not because they necessarily have like a mission to, you know, help a certain people group, or they just go, hey, you know what? I used to do this. I can do it better than my old company. I'm going to start a business. Well, you still need to be clear on who it is you serve, what you're solving, what options that you do. Does that all match up? So, all things that if you don't answer those questions first, it really doesn't matter what your website has on it, or what type of content you put out, or what type of ads. Because if you're not connected and clear about who you're serving and what you're doing, um, you're just not going to do near as well as you'd like to do. And that's at the end of the day what we all want is to be effective in what we're doing, right?
Right. And how do you see this in the dynamic between your clients and then your team that either works for you or work with?
So, I mean, clarity and communication in relationships is really important too, right? So when we're talking about team to start, um, we've been talking a little bit about evaluating, and understanding if team members are happy in their roles, and what they would want to do more of or what they would like to do less of, things like that. So unless you're really thinking ahead of time, what am I hoping this person will accomplish, and are we being really clear on that? You stand to have people that aren't as happy in their job as they could be, or the work that they're doing. And even yesterday, I was talking to a friend of mine, John, about being clear in your sales goals, right? Because we all want sales, we all want to get more clients, we all want to sell bigger ticket items, right? But let's be really clear about measuring the things that actually get me sales calls. Because we could measure, hey, did I get my 10 sales calls this week? Or we could measure, did I do the two activities I know that will bring me conversations? Right. So that's just a difference in clarity. I want sales, or I need to measure these three activities. So it goes all the way across. So whether it's with your team members or people you manage or people you're managed by, even managing up, as they say, really, really being clear about expectations and what you expect, and then what you're measuring, a lot of times is what helps people excel. It's not more stuff, more scale, more money. It's more clarity.
No, it's good. We've got a couple questions. Eric, and then Shelly has one, but Eric kind of relates to what you were just talking. What are some practical ways to keep clear communication with team members and clients since we're not all working together currently?
Yeah. I think that takes a little work to understand, kind of like we were just talking about. What are your expectations of the people of your own role, and then of the role of the people that you're working with? So an example about might be you and me, James, right? So I do one thing I do when I help Quirk is SEO work, and your expectation might be, hey, I want this to for you to pick it up, I want you to communicate it, and I want you to execute it. Although you just may have told me I want you to do SEO work. So we haven't been clear on what the expectation is, right? So that's one piece of it. Second piece of it is you can do that with other people too. So like Eric and I might be working on something together around a video shoot, and the clarity just comes in over communication is, hey, can you have something for me by tomorrow afternoon that has these three things in it? Yes or no? Yes, I can. Or no, I can't. Can we push that back till Thursday? So a lot of it comes back down to communication, but you can't just talk. You have to say, here's what I hope we accomplish. Here's what that'll look like when it's successful. And here's when we can do it by. Right. And so clarity and communication merge a lot of places. It's kind of hard to tell the difference sometimes, but you still have to take the time with the people that you're communicating with to get on the same page and be clear before you even communicate.
Right. And that was yesterday when we talked about over communicating. You kind of have to do it more than ever now, if everyone being home. Um, but yeah, clarity. Man, if
Yeah.
I'm
And see,
not doing,
that's,
go
I
ahead.
would say that's something too that is a bit of a misuse of the phrase to over communicate, because you need to communicate more clearly than ever
Yeah.
because you don't get to see them in face and clarify. I don't think you need to communicate any more than you were before unless you were just a poor communicator. I
Right.
think you need to be more clear about your communication now.
You're trying to be positive. I just rather go to the negative. You're just like, you just need to get.
Yeah, you're
No, you're
horrible.
doing good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shelley's question was, what are some different ways we can be clear with our customers and cut through all the noise out there right now?
I'm assuming this is a like a marketing sales question. Like how do you get
Yeah,
your name?
how
Yeah.
you? I'm guessing it's how you would use this in
Yeah.
marketing now with all the stuff that's going on.
Man, that's a big question. That's a good one though. I have a couple thoughts. One is, we've been uh, talking about a book called What You're Made For," and it's similar in some ways to Story Brand, and it really wants you to make it about the customer. So I think one thing you could do is more than ever, I think you could set foundations during this time that you are for your customer, and that means talking about them and with them and promoting them and encouraging them, spending a lot of your time focusing on how you can specifically help your customer right now, even if it means you're not engaged in a paid engagement. How can you help your customer? I think that's one big thing that you can do, and then take that and keep running with it when all this is over, because what we believe at Quirk that that's a successful model. um, the second thing I would say is don't focus so much on, I know we don't do it on purpose, but don't copy so much.
Hmm.
Like you have your own unique point of view. We go out there and I'm the king of stealing stuff that I see it's working well. I've told people that forever. Like I'm not creative. I'm really good at stealing good stuff. That's been one of my superpowers, right? And so don't rely so much and see what other people are doing. Use that time engaging with clients and customers to understand what they need and to go communicate in a different way than you have before. It's kind of saying the same thing twice, but like I think be who you are. Don't be who you think people want you to be, because that's one of those personal branding things. Everyone has something specific that they bring to the table that no one else has. Be looking for that in this time. What do you bring? James, you're quirky. You got dance moves like till the end of time, and like you like to have fun. Just you take
Yeah,
that everywhere, right? So
right.
now's a good time to discover that about yourself, maybe where there's not so much pressure to put on this mask.
That's good. Eric has another one. What are some ways that an employee can keep clarity with an oversight without being overbearing?
Keep an employee can keep
Clarity
clarity
with an
with over
oversight.
within oversight.
Hmm. Without being overbearing.
So by overbearing, Eric, do you mean pestering the person that you're trying to be managed by, or do you mean them pestering you, like you're being micromanaged?
I'm guessing it's from his point of view or the employee's point of view.
Yeah, so I always encourage people to review job descriptions with their semi-annual or annual, you know, time that they're getting their reviews to make sure that everyone is still clear on, hey, here's what success looks like in this position. Because if that's not done the first time, it's always a good time to make up for it the next time and pivot. Like we go, oh, you know what, this isn't really apply anymore, or this doesn't really work with what we're doing now, or it never did. We just worded it wrong the first time. I think that's one way, kind of at a milestone, that makes it easier. You make that part of your review process. I think ask for it. I think that's the second
Mm.
thing. Like if you're unclear on what success looks like this week, just ask. And if they're not, then you've just created a good conversation to have about growing the company. So I think that's like the micro version.
No, it's good. I'm always the person too. It's like just strive for it. You may not have all the answers today. Even our side of like either owning business or working for someone, it's like just strive for it and try it. It's better than not having it. Um,
Yeah, and I was even talking to somebody about writing job descriptions, and I used a similar kind of thought was write your job description based on what success looks like, not on the
mm,
tasks. So it could be a much shorter job description if you wanted. And then as someone sees that as intriguing, then you have the conversation in, because I mean, at the end of the day, no one really cares the tasks themselves that they're going to be doing as long as it meets a value or something that they want in a job, right? Because maybe if I'm
right.
a mechanic, there's 1,000 tasks, but the value is, am I going to get to restore cars? Yes or no? No, this is not a restoration business. This is a repair business. Okay, it's not a fit for me then. So
It's good. One more question that I have. If you just had one tip on how to help people get more clear today, what would it be? If you could
one
only pick
tip
one.
for clarity. Um, okay. If I have to pick one tip, I would say the way that you can supercharge clarity is to ask better questions. So what I mean by that is if you're not happy with something and your performance in your job, in your business, whatever it is, I think by taking the time to rethink what you think you know, like restating to yourself what you think you know, and then ask questions about it. That's how you get there. So I think maybe if we did an exercise, it'd be easier to kind of right to do that. So let's say um, what I think I know. Okay, so here's a great one, right? Like your elevator pitch. Lots of people have issues with their elevator pitch because it's not specific enough. It doesn't really talk to what they do, right? So say my elevator pitch is to um, help cause-driven organizations create more income in less time, right? So that's probably not specific enough. It says who I work with. So why am I not being more specific? Okay, what am I afraid of about being specific? Do I even know what specific is? Like, so I'm asking myself questions like why, how. That just automatically helps me get clear. And you can do that in any situation in your life. Okay, I would like to have more dates with my wife. I have one a month, but I really wish it was once a week. Why don't we have more dates? What gets in the way? How is it that am I putting any blocks in front of us, or is she putting any blocks out? Things like that. Just asking yourself simple questions help you get more clarity.
That's good. I don't see any more questions, but you know what? We'll give them a minute. So let's wait a minute.
So
Hold
kind
on.
of, I share a story real
Yeah, go
quick.
ahead.
One that I like to use this story when we're engaging with clients, right? Is the NASA story. Is pre John F. Kennedy. NASA was in business. They were supported by the government. They were interested and doing things in space. They were spending money, right? And they had a mission statement that was like, we're an investment in America's future. We're explorers, pioneers, innovators. We boldly expand frontiers in the air and space to inspire America and to benefit the quality of life on Earth. Oh, like like even though if I loved NASA and science, I would be falling asleep at that, right? So Kennedy came in and goes, look, we're going to make it to the moon this decade. That's it. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to be known for in the 60s, and that's what we're going to do. That is a huge difference in the ability to make strides towards something. And what Kennedy said, and partially why it was so inspiring, is because it was so specific. That's much more clear than the one before. And that's just a huge, example of our history where someone just came in as a leader and brought clarity to something that happened to be really motivating for the country in general, right? So I love stories like that when you hear people go, look, here's what we're about, here's what we're going to do about it. And so that's one story. There's lots of those I think that are out there. If you start looking, Steve Jobs is popular about some of the things he says that here he brings clarity where there wasn't clarity before, and different things like that. So
That's really good. Sorry, I'm back and forth here. I know there's not a ton of people live, so if you catch this video later and you do have some questions, you can still post them on this video. Send me a message or email us, info@quirkadvertising.com. We'll make sure Jake gets this and we can answer that question for you as it comes to clarity and the months amidst everything that's going on in your business right now, your family. Hopefully your health is okay. If you know someone that's dealing with something or whatever, we're definitely praying for you, hoping you're staying strong through this. But if you do have any or need of any assistance, we do stuff for businesses through Quirk. But Jake, why don't you go ahead and share good ways to connect with you if it's something that's a coach for their business? How does that work?
yeah, so my website is impactoverattention.com. You can always get a hold of me there. And then I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn as well. So you can just come find me, Jake L. Jordan, on LinkedIn. And I'm always around and looking for opportunities to help, particularly cost-driven organizations, but anybody who's struggling, especially in this time, if I can help, I will.
And the same with Quirk. If y'all just need to rethink some things for your business, we'd love to jump on a call and see if we can help restructure some things or set some things up for when we do come out of this, because we will. And I hope you got something out of today with clarity in crisis. So Jake, thanks you so much for joining us.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
And like I say every day, until then, stay safe, ration the toilet paper, and stay calm, because we will get out of this. So
Right.
Jake, now that you're with me though, you have to dance with me as we close this out.
Okay.
All right, here we go.